The GOAT.
Mike Walter.
Mike Walter.
How are you, Joe? I didn't know what we were going to... Last week, for the first time, you introduced me. So, are we going back to that, or are we just introducing ourselves?
You got to change it up, sir.
Either way. Exactly. Throw a little curveball to the listeners every once in a while.
Kids, for the kids.
Don't let them get too comfortable. Yeah.
For the kids. So, everything good, Mike? Everything good?
Everything's good, man. Busy as I feel like a juggler with like 9 balls in the air, but it's all good.
It's
October. I'm racing to get this audio book edited and get the book done. I'm just, exactly. Kelly said to me, today's your day off. And I go, honey, there's not a day off on the horizon. No. It ain't happening, but it was nice. She's like, I'm concerned. I don't want you to burn out. I'm like, that's sweet, honey. Thank you.
That is sweet. Mike, how do you think you're 75% done reading it?
No, I'm into. Well, no, the reading is done.
Okay.
Now it's the editing where I have to take out all the ums and uhs and mispronunciations and pauses and things like that. I record right in this spot, and I don't know if you can see, but if you're watching this on video, right behind us is a fairly busy road. The traffic doesn't get picked up on the microphone, but if a big truck or a motorcycle goes by, it gets picked up. So there's plenty of times where I'm reading where, I just got to stop for like 45 seconds while boom goes by. So then part of the editing is just clipping that stuff out. And, there's also great big pauses of time where I got to a name that I wasn't sure how to pronounce. So I looked it up. I checked the pronunciation. So then I can, so those types of things need to be edited.
Cleaned up.
That's a slow process. I just sent August. You know what? I got a really nice compliment. You know Larry Williams?
Yeah, I like Larry a lot.
Really nice compliment. I edited the Larry Williams, as anyone who knows him knows, he was good friends with Dick Clark. And so I edited the Dick Clark day because there's a day about his life. I felt in the history of music, he's certainly worth. And I sent him the audio file yesterday, and I just said, hey, I hope I did your boy proud. And he not only loved it, he sent it to Dick Clark's widow, who he's still friends with, and she was very complimentary about it. So
that's awesome, man.
Real nice pat on the back yesterday. Yeah, it was a real nice piece.
I actually didn't know that about Larry, and I've talked to him several times.
Larry, Dick Clark wrote the foreword for one of his books.
Wow.
Yeah, they were pretty tight. Yeah,
that's cool.
Shout out to Larry Williams.
Well, keep pushing, Mike. I made the statement the other day to somebody. They were like, is this y'all's primetime season? And I said, if you're in the wedding business and you're not making money in October, you need to find a new line of work.
Exactly. You need to look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong? I don't care if you're a cake maker, a florist, a DJ, whatever. This is it. So anyway, moving on, we're recording. Are we going to release this a day early, Mike, or what do you think?
We're going to put that on. So we're recording this because what do you have going on?
My buddy's getting married tonight in the mountains. So it's Tuesday, and I'll be hitting the road right after this. Got the van all shined up and serviced.
Out with just yourself?
Yes, sir. Always. I'm on tour solo.
You're staying the night?
Yeah, I am going to spend the night for sure. It's too far. It's about 4.5 hours from here, actually.
I have a similar situation the end of this week. I'm DJing up in Albany on Friday night.
Okay.
So
how far is that?
It's a good solid 3 hours. So it's actually an early wedding. So I'm going up the day before and then driving home that night, the night of the wedding. But yeah, It would have been too much to do both in one day. Would have been too much.
I'm still trying to make a trip up there soon. I've been talking to Jay and I about coming to a football game in Philly. So if I do that, I'm just going to stay a couple extra days and see you guys.
Okay.
All right. So
cool.
I'll keep you posted.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So moving into today's topic, some people get all pissed off when you try and have a personal conversation at the beginning of the podcast. But anyway, we just did that.
Can I send a message out to those people? Sorry, but F you. I do not want. I know some people have said you guys should just do a 5-minute podcast about content and skip the personal stuff. And I'm like, then don't listen because that's not the kind of podcast I want.
Isn't there a little button where you can skip 20 seconds?
Skip ahead, exactly. Yeah, you don't like it, skip ahead. We'll get to the content eventually, but this is my one chance to talk to Joe all week. I need to get to my boy.
All right, so we do have some good stuff to talk about today.
Just do that one day, shoot the shit, and then go, okay, thanks. Hope you enjoy. We should do that one day.
Let Kelly come in, talk for a little while, play with the dogs on camera.
Kids do and tells about that, and then go, 30 minutes. We're out of time.
It's a wrap. Yeah. I do want to throw this out real quick, Mike. And this was a non-prepped question, but I think you probably have an answer. If somebody said to you today, "Why do you think that Elite name one thing, or one of your top things why elite entertainment is successful.
Really great question. I can only give you one thing. I'm going to have to go with personal service. That probably sounds cliche, but I think the biggest thing when I read our Wedding Wire reviews, and Alan Berg and everyone else in the industry says, you don't have to guess at what you do well. Your clients will tell you. And when I go through our Wedding Wire reviews, the common theme is, not only through a great party, everything else, all that stuff is kind of assumed, I think, but really listened to us and brought our vision to life, helped us with some suggestions, which I consider to fall under the umbrella of personal service. Sure. So I'd say that's probably the number one reason. I
mean, I would definitely put that in my top 5. I think when people ask me, I always say personnel, the DJs. It was very difficult for me over the course of the first, 13, 15 years of my career to ever even think about, God forbid, if I was booked, that people would book somebody else, or that I could send somebody else under my name and that they would be as good as I am. And, over the last 10 years, I'm more than confident that they're as good, if not better than I am. You know what I mean? And I think that's the testament of the referral business is that, these guys are out there every single weekend, just like you and I are, Mike, but you and I can't be everywhere. We can't clone ourselves. And if we've trained our people to be as good as we are, then this thing can live forever, whether me and you go out and DJ or not.
Yeah, I think I talk about this in my book. I know I've talked about it in different seminars, that I think the number one struggle for people to grow a multi-op is to get over that ego of there are going to be clients that want DJs other than you. And for some people, that's too much of a blow to their ego. They cannot the first time they take a phone call and the person says, "Hey, we saw you at an event," and you go, "Great," and they go, "Yeah, we saw Randy," and you go, and your heart sinks a little bit because it's not you anymore. You've taken phone calls for years and they've stroked your ego, but now it's somebody else. But if you can put the ego part aside and realize that A, I trained Randy or trained anyone on staff, so it's part of it. It's an extension of a compliment to me. But B, it's basically growing your company bigger, even if it's not helping your ego, then you can grow a multi-op. But I do think that that's a stumbling block, and it's a reason why, although they'd never admit it, but I think it is a reason why some guys stay single op, because they just can't handle that psychological blow to the ego of, you are not the guy I'm asking for right now.
Yeah. I do remember that. I remember that feeling early on, now that you bring it up. Well, that was just kind of a side topic, Mike, because I do want to move into something that's, again, that been a crucial part of both of our companies, which is automating things or making things easier, or putting systems in place to be able to run companies, our size. And I think what people are always shocked about, especially when they come to the workshop, is that I'm the only, full-time employee here. And, everybody that knows your models knows you have a couple of sales guys and admin as well. A different model, but the same, but an even bigger company. We do, I don't know, I think 400 weddings a year, and y'all probably do closer to 1,000.
Yeah, we do 1,000 events.
Okay. So we probably do 500 or 600. So we do probably half of what y'all do. So again, though, I think that the key to our success, or to the company's success, has been putting systems in place, because people are like, that's not possible. How could you possibly do, 500 shows and you're the only employee? And I'm a lot of it is based on the systems we have in place, but also the automation in our CRM. So, of course, y'all have heard us talk about it before. We hate to pump up somebody that's not.
We love Troy. We love Troy. We love him.
DJ Event Planner is Mike and I both.
Well, yeah, that's our form of choice. But I think when we talk about anything automation, I imagine any of the other programs do the same thing. So 100%. We don't have to talk about just specifically DJ Event Planner. I mean, I think most of those other programs have some kind of automated email system or automated reminders, things like that. And when you presented this topic to me and said, prep it. I mean, to me, that's one of the great things with DJ Event Planner is the to-do list in there. And I think you would, do you even use that, Joe? You said
don't.
No,
yeah,
right?
We don't. Yeah.
So for example, I mean, I woke up this morning and there were 2 leads that had come in through our website the night before, last night. So I sent both of them, good morning, here's the information you required, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to wake up this morning and get that information. But with both of those leads, I then set to-dos for either Dominic or Chris to follow up.
Like next action. Is it next action?
I think it's called to do, but but I mean, that might just be what we call it internally. Right. But so Dominic, now I don't have to say anything else to Dominic. I think I set them 2 days from now. So 2 days from now, Dominic will see that lead. He'll see that I sent an initial email. Now they might in those 2 days get back to me personally, in which case I might kick that to do further down the road. But if they haven't returned my email in the next 2 days, then Dominic will be the next to take action on that lead. And then he'll do the same thing. If he might text them the second, we try to, with our follow-up, we try to rotate email, phone call, text, phone call, text. So they're not getting the same thing. So he might text them the next time and then call them 3 days later and then email them 3 days after that. But it's always done with a to-do through the system. So we're always remembering what happened to follow up on.
Right. Yeah. So going back to your original point though, the lead did come in through the code that you embedded in your website, Mike, and it goes right into that blinking envelope.
Exactly. Right. So that blinking envelope, which it's almost like Christmas morning when I wake up in the morning and I see that. And sometimes you see like 4, but 3 of them are signed document, which is nice. Somebody said, but to me, the big thing is requested information because that's a new lead that came in overnight.
It's that thing what was the thing? Money. That's money calling.
That's money calling. Yeah. And back in the day it was the same thing when you walked in your office in the morning and the message thing was bleeping, beeping or blinking, and you knew, hey, I got a couple sales calls from overnight. Same thing.
Money calling.
Right.
So Mike, though, just like we do, I think you actually, because you can make any of these systems, 17 Hats, Honeybook, DJ Event Planner, DJ Intelligence, whatever, automatically respond when that lead comes in, but you actually manually respond, correct?
You can, yes. And here's the thing, though. Everyone says from Alan Berg on down that everyone knows what an automated email looks like, that automatic response, and they're unimpressed by it. They, people want a personalized response, and that's what I did. I mean, first of all, I started both emails this morning with good morning because I sent them at 6 a.m. The person had asked for information at like 11 o'clock last night, so I didn't, and sometimes I will. Sometimes if I happen to be up and on the computer, I might have seen that and sent it right away. But the fact that I didn't send it till this morning, I started both with good morning. I referenced both banquet halls that they were at because I recognized them, gave them quotes for their day, and then, and always, and this is an Alan Berg thing, now we're kind of getting more into sales and automation, finish those emails with a question. So hopefully it begins a dialogue with those people.
Correct.
Shout out to Alan Berg as we've
we always pump him up. He's great. Alan's been great for my company as well. So Mike, then, and I know we've talked about this before, but just refresh my memory. What is the total number of follow-ups you do with a lead that's not starting
There's really no definitive answer to that. A lot of it has to do with how badly do we want this lead. I mean, if it's a, on an off day in a really nice location that everybody wants to work, we will follow up on that sucker until they say leave me alone.
Right.
If it's a super busy day and maybe too far of a drive that nobody really wants anyway, we're going to follow up a couple times. And then, I've got an email that I've written a couple times, and every once in a while I'll copy and paste. So it basically just says, you haven't responded to a few of my contacts, and I don't want to be a bother. So, I won't contact you after this unless there's anything else you need. And if not, I wish you the best of luck. And sometimes you'd be surprised. And then I'll cancel the lead because I don't want to see it anymore. But then every once in a while you'll get, oh, no, I've been meaning to get back to you, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes you almost have to kind of close the book on a client because if they know, hey, this person's contacting me every 3 or 4 days, I don't need to really take action until I'm ready. But once you say to them, look, I don't want to be a hassle. I'm done contacting you. That sometimes spurs that. Oh no, we wanted to get in touch with you.
So with us, guys, just being the only person here, the process that Mike talks about with Dom and who else is in the office, Mike?
Chris.
doing a lot of the follow-up, and even Mike kind of starting the conversation, there's 3 emails. So I send the first response, unless Randy's here. Like, for example, when I do go out of town or if I go on vacation or something, Randy will usually be in the office. So today I'll leave and go to the mountains. He'll be here all day today and tomorrow. But anyway, we manually respond to the lead, and then it goes into the system, and then there are 3 follow-up emails, Mike. So I do have a succinct number. So the first one is 3 days after. I'm just looking at it now, and it just says, you emailed us a couple of days ago. Don't mean to bother. We're just checking to see if you're still looking for a DJ. And then 7 days late. No, I'm sorry. I'm just looking through this. Then 7 days after the initial contact date. So that would be 4 days after the first follow-up. Very similar email. You emailed us about a week ago inquiring about DJ services, just checking to see if you're still looking for a DJ. Let us know. Give us a call or give us an email. And then finally, a full 14 days after the initial inquiry.
Then you do the trapped under a rock thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. So
So now those are all automated.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And I didn't mean to cut you off there,
No,
but anyone who's listened to this podcast regularly know you because you've referenced that email. I think it's brilliant. But
I got it from Alan. I don't want to act like I made
it. Another tip of the cap to Alan Berg. So those are all automated. Do you ever forget to turn off those if the client has contacted you again? Like, let's say between that second and third email, they've contacted you and said, Joe, we're really interested in your company. We're just not ready to commit yet. Got to speak to my mom or whatever. Yeah. Have you ever then forgotten and that that's my biggest problem with automation. And this is a conversation we have in the office from time to time, myself, Dominic, and Chris. And I said this recently, and I don't know if I made this up or I heard it somewhere else, but the exact opposite of personalization is automation. And so as often as possible, I want to see us in the office not automate, but personalize.
Sure.
I don't see why you can't set a reminder for 14 days after that person to look at this lead again. Look at it. And then if they haven't contacted you, then go right ahead and send that trapped under a rock email.
Right.
But this gives you an opportunity to look at it and say, oh, they have contacted us, or they did tell Randy in the meeting that they were really interested, but it was going to be 3 weeks before they could make a decision for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So that's the one. Automation is great, and it helps us a lot. Yeah. But I think sometimes we rely on it too much, and in doing so, we can look sloppy to clients. Because that email goes out to a client that has already told you, we're going to be making a decision in 2 weeks. They're going to be like, wait, what is this all about all of a sudden?
I would say, Mike, it's probably once a month. If somebody will say, wait a minute, we said, a week ago we needed another month or something. And I'll say, I'm so sorry, that was automated. I'll own up to it. And I'll say, I'm so sorry. We've still got you in the system. Let us know when you need us. We'll be here. And then I'll make sure to take them out. Also, Mike, there are some steps in there that I've put in so that, leads are changed in status. You know how you have status from we call it hot lead or active lead. You've got booked, you've got advanced, you've got
I think you use way more statuses than we do, and it's something we should probably, but we should make this a 2019 goal at Elite to start utilizing more statuses, because that could help us avoid that type of what you just described, that situation, because you can set different automated follow-ups based on status.
Their status, correct.
So that would certainly help if you change the status. So hot lead, what else?
Sorry.
And are these all that are in there, or you make these up? Like, you can call them whatever.
I think I made up a few, and I took out a few that he had in there.
Right.
Yeah. But I also want to, before I get too far along, Mike, let's just be completely transparent with people. And I think you do this, and I'm sure you do this. The main thing that you guys need, and whether you're using DJ Event Planner or whatever, to save yourself a tremendous amount of time, wouldn't you agree, Mike, is e-signing? Like, don't you?
The e-sign documents are great. Yes.
Regardless of what, there's hundreds of programs. Even if you still send out like a Word document, just at least switch to one of these programs that you can scan the document.
It's funny. I have to chuckle now at how little mail we send.
I know.
when back in the day, I mean, we not only sent but received, because that's every contract came in via email with a check.
Yep.
Now, so it used to be like, oh, the mailman's here, and we'd cut open. Well, we got 4 checks in the mail today.
Remember these?
But now it's all about
a letter opener.
Exactly. Now it's all about credit cards and e-signs. You know what I mean? You get the e-sign, and that's what I said when you talked about that blinking on DJ Event Planner. That's exciting, but a lot of times you click on it and it's just an e-sign document, which is still great because it means they're booking. But to me, it's all about the new information. But yeah, you got to use e-sign, and that's what people expect nowadays. They don't want to wait 3 days to get a contract in the mail.
Correct. And electronic payment as well, Mike, right? Are y'all using PayPal or whatever through DJ?
Well, we don't have it through DJ, and I think I've mentioned this, because we run 3 companies through DJ Event Planner. It became really complex every Monday, separating, this payment was for video, I got to cut them a check. So it just became too complex. So people have to call us to give a credit card, and we run it based on what service you're booking.
And then what do you run it through, Mike? Are you still typing it in PayPal, like through the virtual terminal, or are you using Square? Or?
I use Clover for the DJ company. We use Intuit for the video, for the photo company, and I forget what I forget for video.
Okay. Yeah. So a couple extra steps in there.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about that. Do you guys do any automation going out to the guys, to the I don't want to say guys. Sorry, the staff.
The back end automation is what I think is phenomenal.
Critical.
For example, my staff is required to call for weddings. They're required to call about a month in advance. That's the promise that we make to our clients. So 6 weeks before a wedding, they get an email saying, this wedding is coming up. It's 6 weeks in advance. You need to start, contacting them. So this gives them a 2-week cushion to, if they want to get on it right away, or at least start thinking about, oh, this is a wedding, I have to start contacting that client. So that one is, I think, critical. And it has cut down drastically on the number of, hey, my wedding's 3 weeks away and I haven't heard from my DJ. It's cut that problem down drastically.
Amazing. Yeah, we definitely do an advanced one as well. We also have one, Mike, I think, that goes out where we set this one up if a contract. So we have one that will switch the status of somebody that doesn't return a contract within 2 weeks to pink, which is contract overdue. And I think when it goes to contract overdue, I have an email that goes out to the DJ that says, hey, you met with, Susie Smith about this date. She hasn't returned any money or a contract. Do not email her, call her. Like, actually get her on the phone and see if they still need us.
Right. So that goes to, and again, if you're a regular listener, you understand this.
Yeah.
Joe's system is his DJs do the selling.
That's right.
My system is Dominic and Chris, who are also DJs but work in the office. So my DJ would never be the follow-up person. It would always be Dominic or Chris. So that's the difference there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we can do the same thing for Dominic or Chris. But again, they're basically looking at their leads every time they're in the office, so they shouldn't need that. Right. But another great thing is every morning, if you have appointments set, you get an email. And I know, for example, Dominic relies on that email based on what he's going to wear to the office that day. If he sees he doesn't have any appointments, he can come in a little bit more casual. Whereas if he looks at that email in the morning and it's a reminder that he's got a 5 o'clock sales and a 6:30 sales and a 7:30 appointment, then he's going to dress up a little bit nicer. So. And I don't think I've ever forgotten an appointment, but there's been plenty of mornings where I wake up and go, oh I got that 5 o'clock today. So that's an automated one too. That's set up.
I tuck the 9 necklaces I'm wearing into my shirt instead of outside. That's
your look, dude. You don't have to do that.
There are a couple of manual ones, Mike, that I have that I use a template for. So I'll give you a good example. One I call changes to your show. So let's say if somebody called today and goes, we need to add an extra hour, and I'll kind of take care of the financial stuff on my end, billing them for the extra hour. But then this template, I can just click it, send it straight to the DJ, and it'll say the following changes have been made to your show. The time's changed from 5:30 to 9 to 5:30 to 10 now. Cool. Or, if
it is, the weekly 10 reference right there. 10. We have to get the number 10 at some point.
Or if they ping me about they'll say, hey, we decided to use amber uplighting. I'll send that template email and say, hey, guys, your color's amber for your lights.
Right. I wanted to ask you about social media, too, because I know, especially in our workshop, you handle a lot of the social media stuff. And you used to talk about Hootsuite. Is that no longer a thing?
I don't.
Does that no longer work?
I use Later now.
Okay.
And the only thing I'm pre-scheduling is the company Instagram posts.
Okay.
I really like Later because it even lets you tag.
Later?
Yep, Later. Okay. It lets you tag the image just like you can on Instagram. You can save like your wall of hashtags. It's a really good one.
Okay. And is it similar to Hootsuite? It doesn't post it. It just reminds you to post it.
Now the API does. As long as you have a business account, which most of us do, it will actually post it and then send you a text that says, "Hey, we just posted new content."
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Last couple things I wanted to speak on, Mike, were couple other things that go out to the client. So if you're not using it, and again, you do have upsells, so just like Mike does, and Mike really has an extensive list, but photo booths, dance floor lighting, up lighting. I mean, Mike has video, Mike has photo. These are critical trickle out emails that can go out leading up to the wedding. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Yeah. And again, I think we've talked about this on the podcast, so I hate to be redundant, but the system we've set up is when you book us for a wedding, you begin receiving emails every 50 days prior to your wedding. So let's say you sign up exactly a year in advance. 15 days later, you're going to receive an email that says your wedding is in 350 days.
Oh, that's cool.
And then 50 days after that, your wedding is in 300 days. And brides, I'm not saying universally, but we know some brides who love that because we've seen brides post, "Hey, my wedding is 100 days away. You know how I know that? I got this email from Elite Entertainment." Right. And so in that email, they're soft sells. It's just, we're excited about your wedding, blah, blah, blah. And then we usually mention, hey, did you know we offer photo booths? Did you know we have a videography service? Did you know, uplighting is all the rage now? That type of thing. It's a soft sell.
So it's only 7 or 8 emails, right, Mike? Because if you're saying it
depends on when it depends on when they sign up. Right, I mean, if they sign up 6 months in advance, what is that, 180 days? They're only going to get 3 of them. Sure. So it all depends on when I think the furthest out we have it is 400 days. So I mean, if you signed up 2 years in advance of your wedding, you're not going to start receiving them right away. I think the furthest out we have is 400 days. Yeah.
So definitely use these for upsells. And then the last thing, and I know Mike, I think is a little more personal on this. I've tried to mask it a little bit, but is sending out surveys. So originally, Mike, the survey looked like it came from it's just a letter with a link to a page.
Well, when you say survey, I don't send out surveys at all.
I'm sorry.
We send invitations. We send an invitation to review us.
Correct.
And
Same here.
that is not automated at all. But
do you remember the surveys?
No doubt. Yeah. But let me finish. So it's not automated to the client, but it is automated to the DJ. So everyone on staff gets an email 2 weeks after their wedding saying, this wedding was 2 weeks ago, and I think the email is literally phrased, assuming you killed it, reach out to them. In other words, if there was anything that went wrong, if you're unsure, you know what I mean? I've got a client from 3 weeks ago that I'm not inviting the wedding wire because she was hard to reach. You know what I mean? I don't think I did anything wrong at the wedding, but I don't want her reviewing me. So, but assuming you killed it, here's the link to send them. So that email goes out automated to the DJ, but then it's up to him to personal. And that's what we want them to do. We want them to personalize it. Yep. Hey, I had such a great time at your wedding. Thanks again for having me. I'll never forget when your uncle sang That's Amore. By the way, here's that link that we talked about.
And Cousin Eddie did the worm or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can personalize it like that, for example, I don't record people's entire weddings anymore. But you've probably noticed a lot of times I'll record a set and I'll put it on my SoundCloud page. So if I've done that at that wedding, I'll say, hey, by the way, I recorded a set at your wedding. Here it is. And by the way, here's that link that we talked about.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I you know what, Mike? I mean, the more we speak about that, I think I'm going to change these to where they go to send it to the DJ and see. Just based on how well you've done. I mean, anybody that listens to this or anybody that follows Wedding Wire, I mean, I think Mike is he may be the top review earner in the country of any category, but definitely in the DJ category. And
I can't get that answer from Wedding Wire.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying. We're hypothetically speaking. Put it this way: he's in the top 1% of all Wedding Wire people.
I think I'm in the top 10, but again, I just can't seem to get that answer from Wedding Wire. They don't want to divulge that information.
Anyway, so his success rate is, I mean, we've done really well as well, but I feel like this could be a shift for us to.
Well, forget about numbers, because a lot of that has to do, again, we do, 800 weddings a year, so we should have. To me, it's about percentage. Anybody listening to this should be able to get 50% of their brides to review them. So if you do 20 weddings in a year, you should get at least 10. If you do 100 weddings in a year, you should get 50. So that, to me, it's more about the percentage than about the actual number. If you're not clocking 50 or more, you're doing something wrong. Either you're doing something wrong at the event where you're not blowing them away, or you're not following up and getting them that link on time.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there.
Very cool, Mike. Well, this was good. I hope you guys got something out of it.
But I think there were some good nuggets in this.
Some nuggets. Hey, and we got to catch up, Mike. We got to catch up.
You got to get on the
I do. I got to hit the road, guys. Well, thank you guys for listening. Again, we are still pushing this Mobile Beat. We will be doing our workshop at the end of Mobile Beat Las Vegas. So get on their website. Go ahead and sign up for that before the tickets go up even more. And then get on ours, PHDJworkshop.com, and sign up as well. And we will see you in beautiful.
Said it better than I could have.
Las Vegas, baby.
Have a good one.
Later, guys.
Ciao.